Good morning. Welcome back to Morning at TV. My name is Malaki Velaudera, and today we're talking about the benefits of business registration. And thank you so much for your engagements. We are on the hashtag Morning at TV. We are getting quite a number of feedback right there. And at Andrew Mugabe, you're saying there are no benefits. If the business is small, registering it will expose it to over-taxation, registration fees, URSB, annual returns, URA, and all these other, taxations. And so also we have right there at Amanda, you're saying that yes, very true. And also there's fear of business registration due to the requirements, the processes, and the attitude. We are still getting the feedback. Keep them coming. And in studio, I have Mugabe Robert, who is the manager, business registration, Uganda business registration from URSB, the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Thank you so much for making time.
My pleasure.
That's the feedback we're getting. Many people are saying that they're afraid because most businesses start when they're very small, and so they're afraid of registering these businesses because then URA will come for them. Also, they are saying that maybe the process is tedious and expensive. Is that true?
Well, thanks. I hear you loud and clear. For a start, I would say everything has a starting point.
Yes.
You cannot start big. There's always a starting point, and you always start small, hoping to grow. So I would think being small should not be a scare. Rather, in your smallness, can we do the basics? Can we formalize so that we can get the benefits of formalization? For a start, if you don't have a name for your business, and you're waiting to first grow big to get a name, by the time you come to register, your name may not be there. And
is it true that because what people are saying, if I go to register, then URA will start knowing that I exist, they will start coming for me, and I've not yet found that, I've not yet gotten to that place where I have a steady flow of income. Is that true?
Well, those are matters of taxation, but still I would think it is not very true.
It is not true.
Yes, reason being, whether you are registered or not, as long as you are in business, someone knows that you exist. Now, when you hide behind non-registration to avoid taxation, you actually miss the bigger picture, which is the benefits of formalization. Taxation, I'm not a taxman, but the little I know about taxation is that it's also categorized into levels. For instance, if your annual turnover is below some certain figure, you are not in the bracket of taxation. So taxation is very organized. It's simply, people are simply scared of the unknown. So it starts by understanding. Let's read more about taxation. Is it that when I operate my one sack of charcoal, if I open a small shop for one sack of charcoal, will the taxman come? Let's understand. Otherwise, if we...
Will he come?
They cannot come because your gross turnover for the year is actually below the taxable rate. So it's not true that URA will come for you every time you open up a business. There is always a starting point. And once you start, as you grow, you will meet URA.
Okay.
And you will meet them when you meet your taxable levels.
Taxable levels.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. We also had one of the business people that Andrew Chamagiro talked to, and he said for him, he's not registered. He hasn't registered his business because he doesn't know that URSB exists. Have you tried to go on the ground to sensitize business people about your existence and the importance?
Yes, thank you so much. That's something we are doing gradually, and maybe I can say it's continuous. Last week, Friday, I was in Kamuri on the same matter. I had been in Ruel on the same matter, and all we are trying to do is, can we let people know that actually, apart from existing as URSB, there is a function that we do perform. The function is clear, formalization of businesses. Now, it's true he may not be knowing because we are talking about 39 million Ugandans. We may not be able to go to everywhere at the same time, but there is an effort to be everywhere. For instance, we have opened offices in regional areas. We have Mbale, we have Arua, we have Guru, we have Mbalala. In Kampala, we have downtown close to Chikubo in the community area, business community area. Now the building is called the Sikaziga House. We have an office there. We have an office at Posta Building. We have another office at Uganda Investment Authority. So we have tried to spread to the communities that are doing business. But apart from that, we have another arrangement with local government, KCCA, and the URA again. where we are able to interact with our business people in the 34 municipal councils. Now, of the 34 municipal councils, we also have 9 centers in the KCCA. So you can see there are sub-centers, which we are calling one-stop centers, in 43 centers countrywide, above the regional centers that we have. So we are trying to get to the people. It is a gradual process. It is continuous.
You have mentioned that you have an office in Chikubo. What's the reception like? Business people coming in to register voluntarily?
Yes, the numbers have grown gradually. When we had just gone in, of course, people were like, now, if we go on the register, maybe you're able to see us. But through discussions in terms of sensitization, people have come to understand that beyond a tax, there is a benefit. For instance, you are in Chikubo, you possibly dealing with stationery. There is a school interested in stationery, in supply of stationery. You cannot participate simply because you lack a certificate. So gradually people have learned that when you register, there are better benefits beyond taxation that accrue to you. So the numbers have grown. The Chikubo office is one of our business centers, followed by posta office. The areas are really receiving people. People are coming, getting on board.
All right. Let's get down to the nitty-gritties of it, the process. I'm a small business. I want to formalize everything and to register. Where do I start?
Thanks. It starts with name identification. I mean, I am Mara. I want to do an enterprise, possibly in let me go back to stationery. Possibly you want to call it Mala Enterprises.
Yes.
It goes back to identification of a name.
So I come first to URSB.
You may not even visit physically URSB. You can go online and visit our portal. You are able to view available names. So that by the time you come to URSB, you have a fair view of possibility of your name going through. So once you've identified your name, you will now come to us with the physical papers if it is a company. But if it is a business name, you can actually access it online. You can submit your form online and we process and forward to you. You print out your certificates and the other forms and you are good to go. But if it is a company, you may have to carry with yourself some documents, memorandum and articles of association, which is more of a description of your nature of business and how you intend to govern yourselves. So these may be physically delivered to our offices and in a space of 1 to 4 hours, you have your company ready.
1 to 4 hours?
Yes.
And for businesses, is it the same thing?
It is on the spot. If you checked with me and we interact as we're interacting, I'm processing your work, and by the time you leave my desk, you're already with your certificate.
And how much is this, registering a business name, not a company name?
Now, first of all, a business name should be understood as distinct from a company. It is more of Mugabe Robert Trading as Mugabe Enterprises. So I'm the same as my business. And like a company which becomes a corporate entity and separate from the owners. So a business name is only 24,000 Uganda shillings. Possibly you may add bank charges of 2,200, but it is as cheap or as simple as 24,000 Uganda shillings for a business name. And there you have a company name, a business name for yourself forever. You register once. It's not something that you renew every once in a while.
So once you've registered, that's it?
That is it until you voluntarily again come over and close your business. Yes. So it is a one-off at 24,000 Uganda shillings.
At 24,000 Uganda
But I am also sure that if you use an agent, you are likely to pay their breakfast, and their transport. And
that's the other question, because we had a businessman who was speaking to Andrew Chamagero, and he said that because they don't know URSB exists, there are many agents that come to them. Some of them actually, you know, swindle them of their money. And so that is another question. Are you able to help SMEs and business people with a process whereby they're able to verify if this agent is, you know, a fake or is truly from URSB?
For a start, we as URSB do not encourage use of agents. Because where agents are able to reach us, you can actually also be able to reach us. So we don't have gazetted agents.
So you don't have gazetted agents?
Apart from those who are recognized by the law, for instance, lawyers, accountants, because you may do anything using your agents in terms of legal representation of those accountants. So that one might be okay. But there is no particular individual that has been gazetted by URSB as an agent.
Say that again, because many of them fall prey of that.
Yes, I get you. No particular individual has been gazetted as an agent for URSB. Apart from those who are embedded within the law, like you have a legal representative, you have an accountant to do your books of accounts. Those ones are just embedded within the law. But there is no particular individual. For instance, there is no Mugabe Robert that URSB has identified as an agent. That one, we are not there.
So people should go to your offices directly and
Exactly.
follow the process,
Exactly.
the due process, or
Yes.
go online and start the process there.
Exactly. The reasoning is, if Mugabe as an agent can reach URSB, it means actually even you, the owner of the business, can reach URSB.
Right.
And what we are trying to do, apart from availing information online, we are doing what we call mobile business registration clinics, where if you are, say, a group of business people in Chikubu and you don't want to climb to URSB offices, you can always invite us and we shall come and register you on the spot from where you are. We are doing that. They are called business registration clinics or mobile business registration clinics. So we are doing that. At the same time, we are able to offer even documents. You don't have to move around looking for anybody to draft for you. If you approached our offices, we can avail you sample documents that you can improve. If it is for the company, memorandum and articles, we can avail documents like those that you can improve, and then you file. In other words, where we have reached as URSB, you don't need an agent to get a service from URSB.
Right.
You can easily access it yourself unless you are a bit busy and not able to move around. But if you are able to spare some few minutes, you can physically visit us and you get a service.
And you get a service.
Without using an agent.
There's this other major worry amongst small businesses that are starting out. For me to register my business name, do I have to have a premises first, then go register, or register and hustle towards affording, a premises where I can now open up shop and say, this is my office?
Thanks. It's a two-way thing. There is registration and there is doing business.
Right.
Now, when you're doing business, you're expected to have premises where you are doing a business from. But at registration, it may even start with an idea. Maybe I had a good dream and I dreamt of a business name. I don't have to wait first to have merchandise in my premises. Just start by securing a name. You see, a name is important because it helps you market your products. It's your identity. When you register a name, you are actually securing your identity. Anybody who wants a nice top, like for ladies, get it? You know that you are going to go to, okay, let me not mention names, but there are so many places with such attires, get it? But when you are guiding a person, you are always saying, go to downtown to the other place, get it? So by identifying a place, you are actually identifying yourself with someone's identity. So registration is important because of the component of identity. Can I be identified? And when I'm identified, can my good products identify with me? And that's how you end up doing proper marketing. And before you realize it, you are even trading across borders. How do you go across borders? You go with your name.
Right.
Yes. So it's more of first secure your name. It does not matter at what stage. If you have not yet done real business, start by securing a name. If you're already in business, still you get in. Okay. So it is the moment you realize you have to register, just to get in. It does not matter whether you are already transacting or not. Just start with securing your name.
Secure your name.
Secure
Very
your name,
important.
secure your identity.
It gives you identity.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Let's go to companies. And there are two types of companies that you actually register. Tell us about them and the process that is there, because I know there's a whole list. Fine, for a business it's easy. You can have an idea today, wake up and go and register. It's just instant. And we don't have a big list of requirements. For companies, it's different. How then do people go about registering their companies?
Thank you. They are actually not different as such. They all start with identification. The only difference would be that for a business name, you submit one form. The form you use to identify a name is the same form that gives you a certificate. Whereas a business, apart from securing a name, you will be required to submit additional forms.
A company.
Now, a company is actually that name.
Yes.
But people tend to think that memorandum and articles is the company. No, that one is simply a document describing the relationship between the owners of the business, of the company. It is indicating the nature of activity you are getting involved into and describing the relationship in the part called articles. It is a two-in-one document. It has memorandum for the objectives or the nature of business. It has articles, which is more of the governing tool. So it is not that that document is the one called the company. the company is that name you have identified.
Right.
Yes, but it has those number of documents. So it has a reservation form, which is more of booking the name, the identity we have talked about. It has that memorandum and articles, which is a description of how things are supposed to be done. Now, this is the one where I was talking about 1 to 4 hours, you have your company ready. And like a business name where you may sit with me and by the time you leave, we are done. You get?
Right.
A business name is on the spot, whereas a company takes between 1 to 4 hours. So the difference in terms of documentation is that for a company, you require reservation of name, you will submit memorandum and articles of association, which is the governance document I've talked about, and possibly a form for directors. Whereas it can come later, but there are those who may wish to have them done at the same time. A company will always have management. The management goes with the identification of directors, a company secretary. So that's the difference in terms of documentation.
Is it true?
Yes.
Yes. Is it true that I can actually register a company as Robert Mugabe without having to submit the names of the directors that are part of it? Do I have to have a whole list of directors for me to register my business as a company?
Now, a company may be a single member company.
Okay.
Where
there's that provision now?
Yes, yes,
okay.
it is there. The same way you say business name owned by a sole proprietor.
Right.
Now, a company can also be owned by one person. Now, Mala Investments Limited.
Yes.
You are there as the only owner. So you as the only owner, you by law you are taken as a director. Even if you don't mention it, the law demands that you are a director. But you may have a nominee director who is supposed to come in case you are no longer on this earth. God forbid. Which nominee director may also need an alternate director. These are people you appoint to manage your business when you are no longer able, when the person is deceased. Now that's for the case of a single member. But the other companies which are not single member are either 2 people to 100. Now, when you have a group of, say, 5 people, or 10, or even 100, you'll find that you need a smaller team among that one, or even outside, whom we are calling directors to manage the affairs of the company. Now, we have what we call corporate governance. Most companies or businesses collapse because of poor governance.
Right.
Now, the directors are expected to govern the business or the company in a corporate manner, where there is proper bookkeeping, there is proper distinction between who is handling audits, who is the company secretary, who is, there is a distinction or separation of laws. That is proper governance, corporate governance for companies. And more so bookkeeping. You know, most companies simply die out.
Right. Because
of governance and the component of bookkeeping. So once you have proper management, those components are easily taken care of. That is for the other big company. So automatically, a company where there is more than one person will need people to govern it.
Okay.
The directors come in now. You don't have to have 100 of them. You may have, say, 3 or 5, depending on the level of the business. If it is at a complicated stage, complicated in a simple language, you may need a more sophisticated team. If it is still starting, you may need a smaller team that grows with time. And still, depending on the ability of the members, of the directors, numbers do not necessarily mean good governance. It's all about if there are 3 or 5, are they able to govern the business in a corporate manner? Basically that.
When you're registering companies, do you look into the issue of the financial strength of this particular company, even if it's a single, you know, kind of ownership of company? Do you look into that aspect, or I'm just open, even if my bank account reads, you know, a small few zeros,
Yes.
does it mean that then I will not be liable to registering, or that does not matter when it comes to registering that company name?
It does not matter.
Okay.
Because the bottom line is the name, identity. We are looking for the identity.
And you stop at that. Is there any other, you know, kind of compliance that you need from me who comes to you to register my company name as a single owner?
Yes, yes. This is what we call post-registration.
Okay.
Now you have registered your business. Even if you are a single owner, we expect every year to get an update from you that you are still the same person, or you have changed, or you have even changed the address, or you've increased the share capital. So we expect an update. It is classified as annual return.
Okay.
It is different from the one submitted to the tax authority. Ours is more of a status update. Can you tell us about your liabilities? Because over time, as you do business, you tend to get into charges like mortgages, debentures. We even now have chattels, movable items. In Uganda, we have the company, the motor vehicle as the common chattel.
Yes.
But actually, even for ladies who have normally things like jewelry, you can, if you have nice jewelry, you can actually have it deposited in a bank or in a financial institution and you get some funding. So those are the chattels. So we also have those ones. So we expect annually a company to give us annual returns, which are displaying what they are. It's more of a status.
The status, if
yes.
they've grown or they're still dormant,
stagnant, yes.
you know, stagnant and all that. And what's the process?
For annual returns?
Yes.
Simple. You just get to the Uganda bookshop for a copy of the statute. It's a statutory form. That is if you have not been able to get it from our portal, for those who are not able to access internet. But if you went to our portal, all these forms, any form you want, you will find it there.
You'll find it there.
Yes. So once you have the form, just fill it.
Submit it.
Submit it. You'll get an assessment for a business, a company which is doing business. You know, there are those companies which are charity in nature. So if it is a business company, one which is doing business for profits and sharing dividends at the end of the year, the fee is 50,000 Uganda shillings. If it is an association or a charity organization, the fee is 30,000 every year. Every year. Yes.
Every year. And if I don't comply, if I don't submit my returns annually, I delay, I default, I don't do it, are there any penalties?
Yes, they are very much there.
Okay, tell us about that.
When you register a business, a company, you are expected annually to file annual returns. When you consecutively miss for 5 times,
five times is 5 years?
Yes.
Okay.
We are at liberty to discharge you from the register of businesses or of companies.
Why?
No, sincerely, if you are in business and all you are supposed to do is simply inform the registrar that I am like this, I have changed, or I am still the same. You've not done it for 5 consecutive years. I don't think you are portraying a good corporate governance within your body. And yet our interest as an institution is to see you grow. Register, possibly with 10 million for a start. We expect to see you tomorrow growing possibly to 20 to even billions.
Yes.
Like the way any business starts, you start small and you grow. And so that return is more of a tool to help you grow.
Okay.
So the element of the registration is not that we wish to see you off, but we also wish to see you growing. Get it? Yes.
All right. So it's that factor.
Yes.
We have a question for you from Andrew Chamagero, who is on ground. Andrew, if you can hear me?
It's a good one about Mr. Robert Gavi. It has been a minute. I last saw you some time ago. We have questions on the ground.
Yes, nze kyenjagala okumanya era okubuuza okutulugunyizibwa okuli ku URA okutuwa buli siiti tumaze okugula ffe abatunda lejjalejja nti ate buli gw'oguziza kiro y'essukaali tumuwe risiiti oluvannyuma bajje batubbe essente ze tutategeera ng'ate tuwa URA essente omusolo ze zaaki tetubitegeera era enkomerero y'okulemererwa nga tetubiina manyeera bagenda tugamba nti ogenda oba mu kooti situbitegeere
babuzaabuza. Alright, sebo gwe n'ekibuuzo Robert Mugabe akuwulira mu
sebo Mr. Robert Mugabe ekibuuzo kyembuuza nkubuuza ssebo oba mbadde nsaba lwaki temuvaayo mu ofiisi eyo ne mutuleetera emisomo eno wansi netubeera nga ffe abantu b'eno wansi tumanyi process gy'oyitamu okubeera ng'oligisalinga kampani watufuna obuzibu eno ku bantu abatulumba tetulina misomo tetulina kyetumanyi mulaba mutya senga muvaayo ne muleeta emisomo eno ku gurawundi ne mubeera nga mutusomesa netubeera nga tumanya ekintu ekyo netusobola okusasula emisolo.
Weewaawo Hajati amanya n'eddoboozi nakanwa gitunula mu kamera wali n'ekibuuzo omukulu mubuuze.
Amanya gange mpitibwa nakanwa Jadija nesinga okuba n'abakyala Central.
Ehe.
Kati mbadde mbuuza nti nno abantu bano abajja batutulugunya bano ng'aba LC ababaddeko nga batugamba nti nno bano abakolera wano fe tuba tugala tetwagala bajjako ssente ate bo bagamba bawoye ssente buli lunaku nusu 1,000 empoozi eyo ey'olukumi mbadde nsaba nti empoozi eyo tujja tufune emisomo empoozi eyo tulabe nga tukoze nga tugirwanisa nga tukola ki nga tugijjawo n'okuba nga tufunyenga ebibiina ebisobola okwezimba nga abakyala ba ssente
ebibiina byammwe byo mubiri gestalinga nga kampani okuba nti mufuna kwagamba benefits eziva mu companies
anti kati tebibaddeewo bano abakadde babadde tebabiteekawo nga baconfusinga abantu naye kati fe abapya twali twagala tukole ki tuteekewo ekintu ekyo enikesi omukyalo oba nga afiiriddwa oba bbaawe bamusibye oba alwazizza nga twesona nga abagurupu nga tugenda mu ddwaliro tukikwataganya.
All right, Mr. Robert Mugabe, I'm sure you can actually get the questions from the ground, awareness campaigns on the ground. I'm sure you actually aligned with the URA. These are questions coming in from the Abantu Bawansi. They're wondering, why does URA bring these exorbitant figures they don't understand about taxation? And can the process be a little bit more, easier? There are questions of bureaucracy on online, the feedback online. It's a lot of paperwork, and they're saying that the taxation, the taxes don't correspond with the business. Taxes actually come in, like they say, you have a tax return of like 3.5 million, yet your business is 500 Ugandan shillings. How do we go about that?
Your response.
Yes, thank you. It's an interesting area. The issue of taxation keeps coming everywhere you go.
Yes.
And I think it goes back to our practices, like I said earlier. The taxman may tell you a story simply because there is nothing to compare with. What am I saying? I'm simply saying, where are our books that can speak for us? You get it?
Yes.
So bookkeeping for a business person is the best tool that would help you. When a taxman comes to you and they are like, you know what, I think you are supposed to pay 10,000. When they tell you 10,000 and you think it should be 5,000, your books, your accounts, are the ones that can save you. So what we are saying simply is, let's go back to basics. As business people, when I put in some money in business, do I take record of what I have put in? When I make sales, do I have a book for sales? When I again do expenditures, do I have for that expenditure book? Get it? So simple books of accounts for a business person are very critical when it comes to taxation.
Okay.
That's why there is a tax appeals tribunal. That's why the URA has a mechanism of appeals. If you feel your tax has not been commensurate to what you really deserve, you have a right of appeal.
Okay.
Those things are there. So it's all about, have we kept books of accounts as business people, and can we voluntarily comply? There is compliance, which should not wait for the taxman to reach your door. Can you voluntarily go to your area and declare what you have?
Yes. They
will deal with your books. But when you don't declare voluntarily, there will be a person to enforce the law. These are matters of the law. They should not be harsh. They should have some humane component of them, but there is a part to play. I have to play as a business person. Me as a business person, how am I helping the taxman to deal with me in a humane way?
Correct.
So that's how I look at the matters of taxation.
Okay.
The lady in the market talked about groups. We encourage them. These are more of associations for people in business. It could be women in business, it could be youth in business. These associations, we can find them wherever they are, and we actually offer them instant registration if they are ready. Okay. But we encourage them. The same way we are saying when you register, you get benefits. In the same way associations help. You can imagine if I have 10,000, you have 10, he has 10, and we are making 30,000. We have a better voice.
Right.
So aggregated resources give us a mileage in business. And you see, these associations are more of aimed at helping members access what they have not been accessing. They are either a voice for the members or also a means of accessing markets.
Right.
You can imagine, say, ladies in crafts. These things that come up are generated through crafts.
Yes.
If you want to sell your products as in one individual, you may never get the same market you would have if you were 10 people and you are saying we have a crafts village.
Yes.
Yes. So that is for the lady. We encourage them to have the associations. They are registered as companies limited by guarantee. You get a certificate and you exist forever. The intention is to help members grow that particular function. So we encourage them, and wherever they are, we can always find them there and do registrations. There was something to do with sensitization. This one, like I said earlier, it's an ongoing activity. I have already highlighted where we have been.
Yes.
As I speak now, we have 2 teams in the field. One team is in Nansana, Kawempe areas. Another one is in Chengera, from Chengera to Natete.
Okay.
For this week, they began on Monday.
Okay.
But you see, still geographically, these areas are big. So if you are in Chengela, a person in, say, Natete may not be aware of that arrangement.
Right.
But from one place to the other, we are moving on to wherever our communities are.
Okay.
But we also encourage those who may feel we are getting delayed somehow, and they feel they have an arrangement. We can always, through invitation, we may easily rush there.
Through invitation?
Yes.
Okay.
We have so many invitations that we honor and help us to move faster. We have Ozia, I think is Uganda Small Scale Industries.
Right.
We have OWER, that's Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association. We have so many groups. We have Kasita. At certain times they are called to come in and take them through some processes. So all these groups, whenever they invite us, even when they are, if we are supposed to see them maybe a month ahead, but we are able to adjust according to the invitation.
Okay.
So we would encourage them to invite us anytime, and we get in.
So it's work in progress.
Work in
because
progress.
That's a major concern.
Exactly.
We are having feedback from online platforms.
Yes.
And just to sample one that is in line with what you're saying,
Yes.
is at Smile 2018 he's saying that people are not sensitized about this system, but they were, if it would be there, then they would, comply. So
Yes.
that's what he's saying. Pretty much people don't know about this. The benefits people didn't know. So at least now we know. And you're saying it's work in progress. You keep on, getting on the ground and sensitizing people directly. Thank you so much for that conversation.
Thank you.
We truly hope that now people have the information. If you're an SME, you now know the benefits. Go to URSB and get to register your business. That has been the discussion on Solution segment today. My name is Malaki Vilaudera. Up next is Take Note.